Hello, welcome to Lab to Programming. I'm Kausar. This is session 6 of Complete FMS using C# and SQL Server. In today's session, we will create two methods inside DatabaseCommunicator class. One method for loading all the data from SQL Server database. Another method for loading specific data from SQL Server database. However, before watching this video, I strongly recommend you to watch session 5 of this video series. Because in session 5 we created custom class for all database operations. Along with that we explained database related classes like SQL connection, SQL command, SQL data reader, SQL parameter and data table. Let's open Finance Management System. Okay, here in our project we have DatabaseCommunicator class. First, we want to create a method to load all the data from SQL Server database. Simple. Internal, for example, data table, load data, procedure, executor. Then we will specify parameter, for example, string procedure name. Okay, here we created method with internal access specifier. That means this method is accessible in our all project. And the return type of this method is data table, because we want to return data from this method as tabular form. This method has single parameter, because this method executes non-parameterized procedure. Okay, thereafter we want to load connection string from app.config file. Simple, con equal new SQL connection. Here, for loading connection string, we will use configuration manager class. Simple. Configuration manager dot connection strings, for example, dbc. Because connection strings property reads connection from app.config file. Thereafter, what we want to do? We want to convert this connection to string. Good. Thereafter, we want to create instance of SQL command class. Simple. cmd equal new SQL command. Okay, constructor of this class accepts query and connection. And here I don't want to provide direct query. Here we want to provide procedure name. After that we want to provide connection. That means SQL command class executes procedure by con connection. So after that we want to specify command type as stored procedure. Simple. Command type equal command type dot store procedure. Okay, why we specified command type as store procedure? That is because we want to execute store procedures instead of normal queries on SQL Server database. Okay, thereafter we want to check connection state. If con dot state equal connection state dot closed, then we will open the connection. Simple. Con dot open. Okay, thereafter we want to create instance of data table. dt equal new data table. That is because we want to store temporary data in data table. Thereafter we want to execute SQL command. Okay, the execute reader method executes SQL command on SQL Server database. Because the data reader is responsible to read data from SQL Server database. Good. Thereafter we want to load data from data reader. Simple. dt.load dr. Okay, here the load method is responsible to get data from data reader to data table. Well, after that we want to close the connection state. Simple. con.close. Because after processing this is better to close the connection state. Okay, here we have an error. Not all code paths return a value. Okay, that is because we don't return a value yet. Here, we want to return dt. Well, you can see the error is resolved. Okay, let's explain this method once again in short points. First, the main objective of this method is that to load all the data from SQL Server database. Here, first we created instance of SQL connection class. After that, we read connection from app.config file, and this goal we achieved by configuration manager class. Thereafter, we created instance of SQL command class, And here we specified procedure name and connection. Thereafter we specified command type as to procedure. After that we checked the connection state. Then we created instance of data table. Thereafter we execute command by calling execute reader method. Thereafter we loaded data from data reader into data table. And finally we return data table. Remember that this method we will use in our all project. Well, let's create method for loading specific records. And for creating this method we want to overload loadDataProcedureExecutor method. Okay, for saving some time I want to copy this method from here. Okay, good. Here what we will do. First we will add two more parameters here. Simple. For example, object type array parameters and object type array value. Because this method is responsible to load specific data from SQL Server database. Okay, thereafter we want to add loop statement here. Simple. For example, for int I equals 0, I less than parameter dot length I plus plus. Okay, this loop is executes repeatedly from parameter 1 to parameter length. Thereafter we want to create object from parameter class. Simple. Param equal new SQL parameter. Okay, first here we want to specify parameter name. Simple. Param dot parameter name equal parameter of I dot string. Thereafter we want to specify value. Simple. Param dot value equal parameter of I, because we will send both parameters name and value to SQL Server database. After that what we will do? We will add parameters to SQL command. Simple. cmd.parameters.add param. Well, in our next video session, inshallah, we will create one method for DML operations. Because these two methods have the responsibility to execute only select query. But for insert, update and delete operations, we will define another method in our next video session. End of this lecture. Thank you for watching. See you in the next one.